Mindful Classroom. I apologize for the radio silence that has occurred. We had a short little trip down south, visit with family. Got a chance to spend some time with my daughter, her husband, my granddaughter. It was wonderful. So down there, I was just really focused on being present, being there, and not recording, not putting anything up. So I apologize, but happy July. I'm back. And I want to share with you today a passage or a little bit from the Ryan Holiday book I'm reading right now, which is Right Thing, Right Now. And it's part of his Stoic Virtues series. So it really examines the life we live and how we do that. And the passage that I want to share with you involves the concept of a North Star. And I think that's a really valuable thing in our lives, no matter what stage we're in or where we are. So I will read and then we can discuss a little bit and see where it goes. It says, such is the power of a North Star. Such is the power of values. They are, like discipline, a kind of destiny or a curse. Either way, they foretell a prophecy. They determine where you will end up and who will be there when we get there. Discipline can feel constraining, like it's telling you what you can't do. Justice is something different. It's an ideal to aspire to, something higher to aim at. That's what a North Star is. Something to reach toward. Something beyond the horizon, lifting our gaze up instead of down. It cuts through the noise. It solves the dilemmas. Of the cardinal directions, justice is clearest. It points us north, shows us where to go. The weather will change, but the stars do not. For Truman, his commitment was not simply honesty or fairness, but it was those values for a reason, and the reason was because that's what a politician owed the public they served. His North Star was the American people and the American Constitution that had written to secure their rights. His North Star was the ancient idea of virtue that he'd learned as a boy, and it rooted and directed him even in the darkest and stormiest of times. He once quoted the poet Horace from memory. The man who is just and firm of purpose can be shaken from his stern resolve neither by the rage of the people who urge him to crime, nor by the countenance of the threatening tyrant. Isn't that what you want? For Queen Elizabeth II, for more than 7 decades, her North Star was not the British Empire that she inherited, but the British Commonwealth, the association of 56 nations across the globe to which she dedicated her life. For Martin Luther King Jr., it was nonviolence, which he said he took as his lawful wedded wife, in the pursuit of justice and love in the world. For Regulus, it wasn't just personal honor that he sacrificed for, but the integrity of Rome and her security. For whistleblowers like Ernie Fitzgerald or Cynthia Cooper, it wasn't just escaping liability or complicity in various crimes or advancing their careers, but about informing the public who deserved to know what was happening in their name or to their money. It was to these causes that they gave the best years of their life. It was these causes that provided clarity amid chaos. It was for these causes that they both refused to compromise and were willing to make any compromise to bring about. Their why allowed them to bear, as the saying goes, just about any how. Of course, the same talents, the same people could not be nearly so impressive if they had not taken their bearings by self-interest, by ego, by the desire for revenge or domination or pleasure. As the writer Bud Schulberg observes in his classic novel about drive and character, What Makes Sammy Run, what a tremendous burning and blinding light ambition can be, where there is something behind it, and what a puny flickering sparkler when there isn't. Cash is a bad North Star, but an easy one to default to if you don't have anything better. Ego, fame, power, dominance, these things might lead you to the top, but they will also lead you astray. They corrupt, they corrode. Loyalty, a love of the game, a desire to keep your hands clean, the confidence to compete fairly with the best, integrity. The Greeks had a word, planexia, self-serving, which they said was the worst kind of life. We might say that justice virtue, being good, not just great, is the antithesis of this. One takes you north, the other south. One leads you forward, the other backward. Down, down the depths. When Charlie followed his conscience, he did great things. When he followed his lower self, he was a monster. He would lose everything. But even if he hadn't, if the law and justice had not come for him, still he would have been the loser because he lost his way. So it goes for all of us. Are we going to be perfect? Get it right every time? Doubtful. We will lose our bearings in this life. We will be tempted off the path. We won't always be as certain as Agrippius. But when we falter, when we get lost, we can look up at the celestial point. We can check in with our conscience, follow it. We'll get where we need to go. This is the right bearing for you. That chapter struck me from the book. The book is wonderful, and I urge any of you to get a chance to read it. But that chapter struck me because I, throughout my teaching career, was a big fan of backward planning. And that's the idea of, first, we think about where do we want to be. Then, from where we want to be, we think about what we need to do to get there. And that North Star is the where we want to be. So for 32 years of teaching, I might not have always fully had it expressed, but I think my primary goal was to help young people see the good and the power that they held within themselves. And it was also to create a literate citizenship, to teach them to explore, to question, to read, to look at multiple sources. And so at the end of every single day, I could ask myself, have I moved toward that North Star? Some days I might have made great progress. Some days I might have made one step. But as long as I was going in the right direction, I knew I had the North Star to guide me. As I retired, it was really important for me to find another purpose, and working and helping students. So setting up the college coaching, the college application coaching, and in general, my purpose and performance coaching, helping people realize first their North Star. First, what's the purpose that they really want? And it's very easy to attach it to money. I want to make enough money to be comfortable. But the problem is that that's a forever moving North Star. It never takes you where you need to be. But finding a true purpose in life, that will lead you and carry you. I recently had a conversation with somebody at work, and we were talking about the Japanese principles of Ikigai. And one of the principles is don't retire. And I don't see that as staying with necessarily one job or even it being a job. I see it as maintaining activity, maintaining a purpose in life. So when you wake up in the morning, there's a purpose that you're waking up to fulfill throughout your day. And that North Star is what helps you see that purpose. It's what's going to guide you to better direct yourself. And once you have that, then we can look at the idea of our own personal values and that we don't betray our values. How is what we're doing taking us closer to where we want to be in a manner that we feel very comfortable with? And that to me was the example of the whistleblower. A person whose values are so deeply seated that they're willing to risk their own personal security for the greater good, for what they believe in. Martin Luther King was that example. The civil rights movement is that example. You see that example for people who stand up for somebody being bullied, that they're not afraid to speak out, even if it means the attack could turn on them. Their values are such that they're willing to point out things that are wrong. So when you really take a look at all of that, I think it's a great way to guide our lives. So I guess my first question to all of you, what's your North Star? Take an inventory. Really sit down. Give yourself 15, 20 uninterrupted minutes. No music in the background, no TV on. Put a piece of paper down and just jot down ideas. What drives you every day? Because it might already be working and you just haven't really formulated it. But once you get that idea down, then you could look at everything you undertake and say, is this leading me to where I should be? Is this leading me to where I want to be? Am I living a true and a good life? And am I who I want to be? And I don't mean just do I project who I want people to think I am. When I look in the mirror, the person I can't lie to, am I who I truly want to be? So I thank you. Um, these will be more consistent, I promise. I'm going to record a couple over the next couple days. I'm also going to put up a couple meditations because I had a former student reach out to me and ask me to simply, if I could record a meditation for her to follow. And I thought that was a beautiful thing. So anytime it's just a meditation, I will post in the title that it's meditation and what type it is. So like you could tune in. They'll generally be anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. And in that time, I'll try to set them up so that if you want to go longer, you can keep going. If you want to go shorter, you can set a timer for 5 minutes, whatever you're comfortable doing as a part of it. But you can conduct your meditation for however long you feel comfortable doing your meditation. Because I noticed that on myself. There's some days that I can go for a long time. I can do 45 minutes to an hour. There's other days that, hey, 10 minutes is perfect. It's what works for me. It's not the length of time. It really is just the consistent practice. So that's where we are. Have a wonderful July. First of the month is always a good day to take inventory. What did you do in June that led you to your goals, that kept you moving in the right direction? And what did you do in June that maybe held you back or distracted you or took you away from the progress you hope to make? I'm a big believer in writing things down. So that could be another 15, 20, 30 minutes where you just sit down and you list your positive actions you've taken throughout the month of June, the things that seem to be your distractions, try to limit them and try to increase on the good things that you were doing and add to them. So inventory is a great way. We reflect, and when we reflect, we can then improve and grow. So try to be as present as you can in the moment today. Take a little bit of time to yourself. Do something kind for other people around you without looking for any gratitude or any reciprocal action. Just look for a chance to be kind to people. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Thanks. Peace. Bye.